What's up, guys? Parker Talks is back. Happy Labor Day, and obviously got a new backdrop here, better than the just bland wall and just the pronghorn in the background. So I definitely need to change it up a little bit, but this is what I got for now. And also in this video, it's something different. I'm not doing a movie review. I'm talking about sports because football, both pro and college, is about to start up. So look for a lot of football videos coming up, more than you would usually see, because I want to do a lot of like predictions and all that stuff before the season starts. So this week might be a little more sports oriented than more towards the movies. But today we are starting off with my predictions and every record for the NFL football season coming up starting on Thursday. Yes, it's actually happening. No delays, except the preseason games have been canceled. So it's going to be a weird week one to watch all these teams when we haven't even seen any of these teams play. We haven't even seen any of the young guys for any of these teams play. So it's going to be really different watching these week one games. So what I thought of to do online today is do an interactive NFL schedule season throughout this whole season, and I predict every game and every winner in that game. And there are about like 270 games this season, I think that's the number. And what I did is on week one, I picked every winner. And then I went to week two, picked every winner, and so on. So I didn't know which each team's record was until the very end. So I didn't know who was making the playoffs until I finished every game up until week 17. So following this video, my other NFL videos that I plan to do, I plan to predict every game, who's going to win before each weekend, before they start. And this is just kind of like a getting started, getting the season ready. I'm predicting which teams are going to make the playoffs, and then I'll give my predictions. I'm doing quotations for a reason. For my Super Bowl champion, I'm doing that because I honestly do not know who I think is going to win, but I got a top five for you guys. And obviously, you guys can tell I'm a bit biased for the NFL. I'm a Titans fan. So what I tried to do for that, so I wouldn't try to be as biased as I could, is I predicted the Titans' schedule first before going to the other teams. And I tried to be as fair as possible. I felt like that was a better way to, as a whole, go through all the schedules for every team. And the last thing before I show you guys my predictions for the records of every team for this NFL football season in 2020, I just wanted to quickly add, do I think that these games are going to be played, all these games are going to be played through this whole COVID thing going on? Honestly, a lot of these teams aren't even allowing fans. I mean, some of them are. For at least these first four games, a lot of the teams won't allow fans at all. And honestly, if there's any league that won't stop with COVID, that will keep going, it's the NFL. So I'm not that worried with the NFL getting these games played. Now, yes, it's not in a bubble. Players will be moving back and forth, but they're testing every single day, and every time they get tested and they're positive, they get sent home immediately. And I think that's even before they practice together, when they're with the whole team. So I think they're doing a good job with this, and I think it's gonna be just fine. All right, so what you guys have all been waiting for, let's show the records right now. And in the AFC North, I have the Ravens at the 1 seed in the AFC at 12-4. One of the surprises I definitely had and was not predicting is the Browns at a 5 seed at 10-6. I think they can do this. They have the players to do it. I didn't think they were going to be a good team last year, especially how overrated they were last year before the season even started. I think they can bounce back this year. And then I have the Steelers at 6-10 and the Bengals at 4-12, not making the playoffs. Now to the AFC South, I have 3 AFC South teams going to the playoffs. Remember that a 7 seed has been added for these playoffs for both the AFC and NFC, obviously. And I think that's a great idea. Just add more teams. And I have the Titans at 11-5. Like I said, I am biased, but I think of all the years, at least since Marcus was a quarterback, obviously he's not Marcus Mariota is not the quarterback for the Titans anymore. It's Ryan Tannehill. I feel like this is the best season for them to win the division. They haven't won the division in a long time, and with Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, I feel like it's going to have a breakout year. I think this is the best year to do so ever since drafting Marcus Mariota. Then I have the Texans at 10-6 at the 6th seed. I think they're always going to be there with Deshaun Watson. They're always going to be good. And then I have the Colts making it 8-8. I think the Colts can be better than 8-8, but with the scores that I had, 8-8 was where they were placed, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-13. Now going to the AFC East, we have the Buffalo Bills at the 4 seed in the AFC at 9-7, winning the AFC East. I think most people are predicting the Bills to win the AFC East this division. This is definitely their best chance, especially since Brady is leaving. Even though the Patriots are getting Cam Newton, I still see them at 6-10, and the Jets are at 6-10 as well. The Dolphins at 3-13, and then the AFC West, Patrick Mahomes and that star-studded offense, 12-4. Winning the AFC West. They're the 2 seed in the AFC for me. I don't think anybody is going to get close to them in their division, the AFC West. And then I don't think the AFC West is bad at all. The Chargers at 7-9, also the Raiders at 7-9. And I had the Broncos at 4-12. Remember, I did not see these records until I finished every game. And honestly, I think the Broncos should have a better record than this. Now going to the NFC, we have the Packers winning the NFC North at only 8-8, and they are the 4 seed in the NFC. The Vikings 7-9. I think the Vikings could have a better record than this. It just happened to be 7-9. But you know what? I'm gonna stick with these records all the way. Hopefully, I can get these right. Because if so, I'm honestly most of these records I think could actually happen. But there's just some that are surprising to me. Then I have the Bears at 6-10 and also the Lions at 6-10. Now for the NFC South, definitely the toughest division in the NFL. I think 3 teams can win this division. It's up for grabs. But I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 12-4, the 2 seed in the NFC. Obviously, Tom Brady at the helm. They are going to be a foe to beat. The Falcons at 5 in the NFC. I think the Falcons are going to have a great comeback year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they even win the NFC South. Also, the Saints 10-6. I think they can win the NFC South too. I was very, very shocked that they didn't even make my playoffs for this. And you know what? I'm going to stick with it, but honestly, I would definitely think the Saints can make the playoffs this year. They have so much on offense, but they in my standings are at 8, just missing the playoffs. And then we have the Panthers at 8-8. Now going to the NFC East, we have the Cowboys being the 3 seed in the NFC at 11-5, and the Eagles at 10-6 being the 6th seed. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles win this division though, but with the scores I had the Cowboys. And then I had the Giants at 6-10, and then the Washington football team at 2-14, having the worst record in the NFL. And finally, the NFC West holds the NFC 1 seed, the Seattle Seahawks at 13-3, winning the NFC West. And then the 7 seed, just making the playoffs, the LA Rams at 10-6. Now, I am very surprised with the 49ers, by far, at 9-7, missing my playoffs. I think both the 49ers and the Saints can both make the playoffs easily. But there's so many teams in the NFC that are so star-studded. It could happen. They could just miss out. And then I have the Cardinals at 9-7, also a very good team, but still not making the cut. So now I can show you guys the full standings right now, 1 through 16 for both the AFC and the NFC. Like I said, my biggest surprises in this were the Browns being a 5 seed at 10-6 in the AFC, and also the Saints and the Niners just missing out on the playoffs. I would have put the Saints and Niners before doing these scores in my playoffs, but the Rams, the Eagles, the Cowboys, I don't think are as good as the Saints and the 49ers. But you also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady in addition to their team. A lot of additions to their team are likely to make the playoffs as well. So those are my overall thoughts for the NFL Definitely the NFC is very loaded, but the AFC has some very top tier teams as well that can compete for the Super Bowl. So that's it for my whole NFL predictions for my records. Honestly, I'm very crushed that the Saints and Niners are not making the playoffs. And honestly, I think those are two of the best possible teams that could be in my top five for winning the Super Bowl. But since they just didn't end up in my playoffs, I'm going to stick with the teams in my playoffs on who is most likely to win the Super Bowl, the top five teams. Okay, so my top five teams that are in my playoffs that are most likely to win the Super Bowl, in no particular order. First, I have the Atlanta Falcons with Matt Ryan. I feel like they can definitely come back after that terrible Super Bowl loss against the Patriots. They just added Todd Gurley from Georgia, the University of Georgia, and Julio Jones. I mean, they have to have a year. Plus, this is the best time for them to come back after last year. Didn't have a great year. I think they can really bounce back. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson is going to have a great year this year. And he also has some weapons now with DK Metcalf. And I don't know how good their whole line is, honestly. But even if it's not that great, Russell Wilson can still do his thing. And even though they don't have the Legion of Boom, they probably never will, they still have a great defense. And they have gotten a better defense over the years. Next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of people are picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl, and honestly, I'm gonna give them one more year to, see what it's like with Tom Brady, and they added Rob Gronkowski, they added Leonard Fournette, they have Chris Godwin, they have so many assets, but I really think their second year is gonna be the year they win it all. So I'm not saying they can't win it this year. I can't wait to see Tom Brady play in a Tampa Bay uniform. It's going to be fun, though, and they can definitely win it all this year. And now for the AFC side, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens were shut out in the playoffs last year. They didn't get a single win in the playoffs, and honestly, they're going to be a really good team still. I do not trust them until they win that first playoff game. If they do, then I can definitely see them winning the whole thing. Now, they just got to win that first game because I just need to see Lamar Jackson, obviously an amazing player, just have to win his first game. And then I'll be more confident in the Ravens. They have a great defense. They have so many weapons on offense. Every team that I'm talking about has great weapons. And so if they just win that first playoff game, they can definitely go all the way. And finally, the last team is the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. What is there to not talk about the Kansas City Chiefs? They have Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the game right now, and probably will be one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. He has so many assets with Travis Kelce and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a new rookie from LSU who played great with Joe Burrow. You have Sammy Watkins. You have, I'm forgetting the receiver's name that's really fast. Tyreek Hill is his name, and they've also gotten a better defense over the years. They have a really good defense now. And yeah, those are my teams that can win it all. I would also include the Saints and the 49ers in there if I could, if they were in my playoffs. Those are both very good teams, definitely. But yeah, that's definitely all we have for this video. I just want to do my predictions for the records and who I think can win the Super Bowl. Those teams that I mentioned before, I think they can just step it up like from the other teams like in that elite level for winning the Super Bowl. And yeah, that's honestly all I have in this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. See you.